Pay up or we're calling the mafia.
On my daughter's 30th birthday, we closed our small diner for a rare dinner out. Our luck ran out when we stumbled into a bar we noticed on the way back. We stumbled into a scam bar. When we couldn't pay, the waiter threatened to call the mafia. I reassured my daughter, "I'll do anything to protect you." But when she saw the gangsters, she exclaimed,
Hey, guys! How's everyone been?
"My name's Jack Robinson. I'm 58 years old. I run a small diner in a quiet part of town. Since marrying, my wife and I worked hard together at the diner, but sadly, she passed away during childbirth. Suddenly, the burden of childcare and running the diner fell solely on me. I had no time to mourn, just desperately focused on raising my daughter, Emma. Though my parents occasionally helped, the early days before she started daycare are a blur from the busyness. I managed to juggle the diner and childcare, cooking while she sat in a stroller beside me, feeding her milk in between. I know I made her feel lonely at times. But she grew up to be such a good kid. After school, instead of playing with friends, she'd diligently help out at the diner. With her small hands, she'd wipe tables, carry water, and take orders. The kind regulars at the diner adored her and watched over her with smiles. I've been greatly supported by those around me. Thanks to them, Emma grew up well without any major issues. My only worry was that during her middle and high school years, when teenagers want to hang out, she never came home late or stayed out overnight with friends. She must have been trying to fill in for her mother who passed away. Even after school or during long holidays like summer break, she'd be at the diner as if it were natural, helping out. When I suggested, "Why don't you go out with your friends?" she'd just smile and say she enjoyed the diner. I can't help but wonder if she refrained from going out because she was concerned about me, if I took away the simple joys of childhood from her. That's been my only concern. When she became a high school student, she declared she wouldn't go to college but would take over the diner instead. Despite her intelligence, I felt it was a waste. So I encouraged her to pursue higher education, but she wouldn't agree.
I love this diner. I don't have a mom or siblings, but I've always been with you and the diner's customers have been kind to me. I've never felt lonely. The diner and its customers are like family to me. That's why I love it here and want to take over,"
she said. Eventually, after graduating high school, she joined the diner full-time, helping me run it. Thus, time passed, Emma turned 30. Even though it was her choice, I felt guilty, as if I'd stolen her youth. So I thought, "At least let's celebrate Emma's birthday in a big way," and decided to close the diner for a day to take her out to a fancy French restaurant. On our way back, I suddenly wanted her to experience some adult fun. With a playful spirit, we stepped into a bar we spotted by chance. Emma was unusually excited. Though regulars had invited her to their bars, she never had the chance to go, and that was actually her first time in a bar. "You work too hard. You should have more fun. I can manage the diner alone. We can even hire more part-time help," I said.
"You know, I enjoy being at the diner more than going out,"
she replied as we enjoyed a few drinks I recommended. It got late, so we called for the bill. Then, unexpectedly, a few burly men appeared alongside the waiter. A bad feeling crept over me. I wondered the place could be. My worst fears were confirmed. The waiter, flanked by burly men, presented a practically empty bill to me.
"Your bill is $1,000.
On Emma's 30th birthday, our luck ran out by just stepping into a random bar. It was a scam one. Gathering my courage, I responded, "I don't have that kind of money. We only had a few drinks. Can you explain why it's so expensive?" The waiter smirked like a reptile, chuckling.
If you won't pay, we'll call the mafia. This bar is mafia run. Want an explanation? We'll get the boss to explain, okay? Even with your precious daughter here, are you sure about that?
The thought of dragging Emma into a conflict with the mafia was unthinkable. Just as I was about to reluctantly pay up, Emma cheerfully said,
I'm fine with that. But make sure to call the manager. I want a proper explanation.
Hey. What are you saying? You go ahead home. I'll handle this, okay?
I tried to stop her, but it seemed too late. The waiter and his burly companions laughed gleefully.
What a brave girl. All right, we'll call the boss. Let's have a nice chat until they arrive.
As they reached out to her,
Please stop. It's her 30th birthday today. It's supposed to be a special day. We'll pay, just let us go.
I desperately shielded Emma behind me. The waiter burst into mocking laughter upon hearing that.
30, so she's an old hag? We don't want old hags here. What, a date with daddy on your birthday? No boyfriend or friends to celebrate with, huh? How pathetic, hilarious.
Such insulting words, unbelievable. Anger nearly lifted me off my feet. But Emma placed a hand on my shoulder and whispered,
It's okay. Let's just wait.
Then she boldly addressed him.
You want us to pay, right? We are customers. You are supposed to serve us, aren't you? Do you think it's okay to make your customers feel this way?
The unexpected retort caused a stir among the shop.
Come on, mind your own business. Do you even understand your situation? This place is easy to enter, but beware on your way out. You think you can just leave easily. The world isn't so kind. We're being nice here, teaching a naive 30-year-old about reality. Consider this a lesson fee. You should be grateful.
Then, looking up and down Emma in a demeaning manner, he added,
You've never had a man by this age, have you? So plain all over, not a speck of glamour. My mom's 50, but even she's got more spark. Forget about meeting anyone. You'll just end up a lonely, wrinkled old hag. If you're desperate, we might find some use for you here, in the back, of course.
At that moment, the entrance became noisy. It seemed the mafia had arrived. The staff hurried to greet them, saying,
Sorry, boss. These customers insisted on seeing the manager. Just showing your face would suffice.
I was disheartened, thinking that was it. I was tormented by regret for ruining Emma's special birthday. However, although she should be unaccustomed to such rough situations, she sat calmly in her chair, seemingly unfazed. Seeing her composure made me want to cry.
It's all right, I'll protect you no matter what.
I whispered, placing a hand on her back. However, when she saw the faces of the gangsters entering, far from being scared, she greeted them with a bright smile.
Hey, guys! How has everyone been?
Huh?
Everyone let out a dumbfounded exclamation.
Is that Lucas?
I couldn't help but utter his name out loud. The man who appeared was like family to both Emma and me. When Emma was in elementary school, there was a boy in the neighborhood named Lucas Jones, who was 5 years older than her. He had no siblings, and would talk with Emma on the school bus every day, treating her like a little sister. Though from a wealthy family, he had a reputation for poor behavior, possibly due to his parents' troubled relationship. However, he was always kind to Emma, and affectionately called me Uncle Jack. I was fond of him, thinking of him like a son. Whenever I saw him wandering around in the evening, I'd call out,
Lucas. Hey. Come have some dinner. Emma hates eating alone. Join her, will you?
He would come into the diner with a bashful grin, saying,
If you wish.
He'd then happily chow down on hamburgers with Emma. Afterward, he'd even help with the cleanup and spend time playing with her. When he went on a school trip, he shared us a lot of his memories. Lucas was such a kind-hearted kid. As he entered middle school, he made a lot of friends. Even then, He didn't forget about Emma, and would come to play with her along with his friends.
We've got to contribute to Uncle's shop sales.
He'd say, bringing his friends along to eat at the diner. Not just Lucas but also his middle school friends became playmates for my little daughter. She was very fond of them too. When they visited, she'd joyfully set up a chair next to hers to draw pictures or have them help with her homework. Being an only child, she must have felt like she had many brothers. On their days off, they'd take her to places like the aquarium or the library. As a parent busy with the diner, I couldn't often take her out myself. Therefore, their kindness in spending time with her was something I was deeply grateful for, to the point of tears. I treated them to hamburgers, fries, pies, and more as a gesture of gratitude. Those growing boys were always hungry, happily munching on anything I made, which was satisfying to see. I often ended up making too much.
Uncle Jack, you're way too generous. At this rate, it's not business anymore.
Lucas would worry. I'd laugh it off, saying, "You're growing lads, eat up. If you don't eat, Emma will worry, right? Have plenty." Emma also was playing the mother hen, and would chide.
Don't just leave the veggies. They're nutritious. No picky eating allowed here.
As she diligently piled vegetables onto their plates. Even though the boys grimaced at the heap of veggies, if she was the one serving, they'd relent.
"Oh man, can't win against you. All right, we'll eat okay."
Though they were big brothers, they had a soft spot for Emma. As if she was their elder sister, she'd reward them with candies, praising.
Good job, boys.
Seeing her like that was also funny. Other customers watched the heartwarming scene with smiles. That was the norm in our diner. The mafia boss called in as the manager turned out to be Lucas. He hugged Emma happily.
"Hey Emma, long time no see you. You've grown. Was wondering why you hadn't visited. Should have told me you were coming. And Uncle Jack, it's been a while. This place is mine, you know?"
Noticing me sandwiched and intimidated by the burly men, he said.
"Wait, you haven't been messing with my dear friends, have you?"
Glaring at the waiter. The waiter turned pale, frantically shaking his head.
No, not at all. We served them very politely.
Desperately pleading with his eyes. Emma then made a smile as angelic as ever, and cut through the tension.
Lucas, you need to train your staff better, okay? Haven't I always taught you about customer service? This place is a mess.
Lucas' brows furrowed as he silently grabbed the waiter by the collar.
Eek!
A strange noise escaped the waiter's throat, his face streaming with sweat.
Today was my 30th birthday. Dad and I went out for dinner, and on our way back, we randomly chose this bar, and I was shocked. It had the same unusual name as the bar Lucas had been inviting me to, saying he'd opened a new place and I should visit. I recognized it immediately because of the unique name.
Emma dropped bomb after bomb with a beaming smile on her face.
Hey, Lucas, your bar turned out to be a scam, huh? Just a few drinks and they wanted to charge us $1,000. When we said we couldn't pay, they brought out these tough-looking guys to intimidate us. And they said all sorts of things, calling me an old hag, saying I lacked charm so I'd never find a partner and just wrinkle up, even laughed that I was pathetically out with my dad on my birthday. We're customers, right? Is it okay for your staff to make customers feel this way? I was looking forward to it because it's your place, thinking it must be a wonderful place.
I didn't get a chance to interject. The wrinkles on Lucas' forehead deepened, and the waiter's complexion grew even paler.
"Hey, don't tell me the call about customers drinking a bunch and then refusing to pay. That wasn't about Uncle Jack, was it?"
Finally, I found an opening to speak. "We only had a few drinks." Emma added more pressure.
Exactly. $1,000 for just a few drinks is an absurd amount. Lucas, have you been called out like this before? Were you deceived by this guy? Look at this bill, it only has the total amount. This isn't a proper itemized bill.
She continued.
Also, they said the owner was a gangster. Lucas, you're a gangster? I thought you were just a regular business person with a tough look, from a wealthy family?
Lucas was gaping, visibly shocked, and the strength drained from his grip. The waiter dropped to the floor with a thud.
A gangster, me. What the hell are you talking about? I'm a regular business owner. These guys are my secretaries.
Looking behind, I recognized the group as the middle school boys who used to frequent the diner. The grown-up big brothers, upon making eye contact with me, greeted me with sheepish smiles, seemingly embarrassed. Regaining his composure and furious upon understanding the situation, Lucas lashed out at the waiter.
What the hell have you done? I'm not a gangster. I'm a legitimate business owner. How dare you spread rumors about me being a gangster? I suspected something was off when the revenue increased unusually with you in charge, but you've been overcharging and then skimming most of it off, haven't you?
The waiter tried to flee, but Lucas tripped him, pinning him to the ground with a thud.
Ouch, I think you broke my bone. Hey you guys, help me out. I paid you for situations like this. Do something.
The waiter shouted shrill and desperate pleas for help with flailing went unheeded by the burly men, who appeared to be mere hired help and remained uninvolved.
You've not only deceived me but also hurt someone important. You're going to pay for this.
The waiter was quickly surrounded by Lucas and his secretaries. Eventually, the waiter was handed over to the police. A few days later, Lucas made a visit to us, bringing some sweets to report on the situation.
He was in tears, begging and pleading for us to drop the charges, promising to return all the money. But if it were that easy, we wouldn't need the cops, right? I wanted to make him pay for what he did, so I hired a top-notch lawyer for this case.
He declared passionately. Apparently, the waiter had been exploiting Lucas' absence, selecting meek-looking customers to victimize in his scam operations. Embezzlement, extortion, and defamation for spreading rumors that Lucas was a gangster even though being a legitimate business owner. The charges were extensive, and he likely wouldn't be seeing the outside of a police station for quite some time. Lucas grinned and said,
I'll make sure he pays for frightening and deceiving you too.
Well, it turned out to be quite an eventful 30th birthday, but Emma seemed delighted, saying,
What an unusual experience. I guess I'm the hero who saved Lucas' store, right?
On the day coming to apologize and report, Lucas was thoroughly lectured by Emma about his weaknesses as a manager. A year has passed since then. Today, Emma is getting married. Guess who the groom is? It's none other than Lucas. Believe it or not, Emma had been in love with him all along. Furthermore, surprisingly, he had special feelings for Emma, who used to be like his younger sister in those days. It seems that back in elementary school, he spent his days hearing his parents argue, feeling like he didn't have a place to belong. It seems he used to pick fights with older kids, often ending up injured in the process. It was the first-grade student Emma who found him in that state and provided him with medical treatment. Since their first meeting, whenever Lucas was alone in the school, Emma would always appear out of nowhere. And then, without doing anything in particular, she sat beside him for a while, then casually said,
Brother Lucas, let's go home.
And took him into the school bus, leading him back into my diner. It was as if he had been told that it was okay for him to be there, and he was very happy about it. He always felt saved by that small hand that called him Brother Lucas. It seems like his parents got divorced as if they were waiting for his high school graduation. Neither of his parents wanted to take him in, but instead, they provided him with a substantial amount of money and a house. He swore to himself,
Someday I'll marry Emma. To make that happen, I'll become someone recognized by Uncle Jack.
And he has been working hard towards that goal ever since. He actually wanted to compete with his cooking skills, but he knew he couldn't match my skill in making delicious food. So, he first thought of saving money, so he used the money he received from his parents as capital to increase his wealth through day trading. The reason why he ventured into the unrelated field of bar management was also because of Emma. When Emma turned 18, he brought alcohol to the store and made various cocktails on the spot. After tasting it, Emma exclaimed,
"This is delicious. I never knew alcohol could taste this good. It's amazing that you can create something so beautiful and tasty. It's like magic."
Thus, he decided to get a bartender license for Emma's sake, and eventually, he ended up owning several bars. Surprisingly, his whole life was determined by Emma's casual remark. When his first store was set to open, he told her,
"For you, I'll serve the finest drinks. If you think you could marry me, come visit my store."
He left the decision to her and reduced his visits to the store. However, Emma hardly ever came to the store. Just when he was about to give up, a major upset happened. The rip-off bar incident made Emma say,
"I was glad that you really got mad at me for my sake. You've always been the kindest, coolest person I've ever known. And yet everyone believed you when the guy said that the manager was a gangster, because you always have a scary face. I don't want you to be misunderstood like that. I'll stay with you and make you smile all the time."
And she finally agreed to marry Lucas. Truth be told, Emma never intended to marry anyone but Lucas from the start. Then why didn't she accept his heartfelt proposal right away?
Well, you see, Lucas always believed he couldn't measure up to my dad. To me, he's cool in his own way, no matter what. No matter how Lucas is, he's always the best to me. I just wanted him to have more confidence in himself.
She said, "It's bittersweet for a father to give away my only daughter, but if it's to Lucas, it's acceptable. Ever since elementary school, he's been like a son to me. It's not so much losing a daughter as it is gaining a son for real. That waiter might have irked me, but in the end, I'm thankful for the push they gave these two towards marriage. Though for the waiter, we're probably just the reason they ended up eating cold meals in prison. Not that they'd be grateful for that, right?"